Okay, we'll go, it's 5:30, that's what our computer clock says. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Mr. Dan Day, would you mind leading us, or everybody rise, please. Mr. Day, would you mind leading us in prayer?
Let us pray. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity of freedom to pray in our community. We ask you to bless our city, all of its employees, our city leaders, our councilman, our mayor. Give them wisdom and knowledge and discernment of how to best serve our people. Lord, we pray especially for those that have to work in our community and to protect and serve, and ask you to give them a special blessing of safety. Keep all our employees and cities in good health so they can continue to do the good jobs that they do. Lord, we ask you to bless our tax base and our income to keep our city operating, and bless us with new business and opportunity to serve our citizens in a better way. And Lord, we are grateful for all that you do. We thank you for the safety that's provided to our community. And we ask you now to help us all to come together in peace. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Lucas, you want to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are very least significant items on the agenda tonight. We'll now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Bueller?
Yes.
Trustee Martinez?
Yes.
Trustee Rodell?
Yes.
And Chairman?
Yes. On the action items, discuss the contract to design a water treatment plant. Steve.
Council, I had PEC requested you guys to bring something back. This is a concept plan. This is what's needed initially to decide if you want to move forward on a full design plan. This goes into a multitude of elements, using the Ouachita alluvial, how we bring that water to a facility, but also understanding the viability and sustainability of what FOSS is doing. Because through our reports and through the same efforts that FOSS is currently working on, we may not want to do a plant, but I do believe that we've talked about that we need this report to tell us if we do, we should or should not do something. And then after this report's completed, then we can move forward on, as you know, the time frame I've provided to you before is quite cumbersome, but it is a lengthy project, really, and all in all. But this is the first level of that. This would not be full design. This would be a concept that it requires first, and we think it's well worth the money to move forward on it.
$18,000 looks like not a bad price for the 6 things that they say that they're going to give us. Would you agree?
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think they're essential for our long-term water needs. I think we need to know every option we have, and I think it's critical to have something in front of us to look at.
Looks to me like the price is reasonable and the length of time, 45 days.
That's pretty good.
This is different than the original ones that we've had presented to us before, where we were looking for water. This one is more direct base for a treatment plant.
Absolutely. This is directly dealing with what it would take to do a treatment plant, which would include an estimated cost, where we could get that water, like landowners dealing with the direction, the length, the water lines, all the details of that, and what a concept for what. Now, that was more of a 20-year plan of understanding, here's locations of water, and here's what we think you could go get to bring it. As you know, one of them was a plant based on the alluvial that we have here underneath us, so this would deal directly with the plant itself.
And focus on the Ouachita alluvial?
Yes, because we know there's an abundance of water with the Ouachita alluvial. It's just contaminated. We've seen that through all the test wells we've done. This would provide us a plan to best fit our needs to clean that water up, and what the cost would be regarding that.
It certainly looks to me like this is something we need to do.
I like number 5, the future expansion capabilities of the proposed water treatment plant. So if they come up with a design for us to spend so many of dollars to do so many gallons, they can also give us an idea if we're going to spend that in the future.
Yeah, I mean, one of the options could be take the alluvial water and send it to Clinton Lake and look at upgrading that facility. And that's based on pricing. I mean, there's a lot of those things we don't know, but they will dive into that in the study. And one of the things that Ethan wanted to make sure this is not just sometimes you get bogged down with studies and studies and studies of engineers. This is not a study. This is a plan required before you go forward on a plan design. This is required, so you have to do this. So don't think it's just another study that goes on the shelf. This is actually tell you yes or no, you're going to do a plan. Here's what's going to cost, and this is how you should do it.
Can we approve we need to approve the contract tonight, is that right? So we'll now entertain a motion to approve this contract with PEC.
I would make a motion that we approve PEC's contract.
I'll second it.
Trustee Rudolph.
Yes.
Trustee Human.
Yes.
Trustee Martinez.
Yes.
And Chairman.
Yes. Action item B, discuss contract design for new water line. Mr. Wood.
Well, council, we want to build a water line that goes from the Canute facility, as our MOU states, to Clinton Lake. This is full design of that. This would include the inspection, engineering, for what it takes to get that water to Clinton Lake. And this is for a price tag of $55,250. We recommend approval.
But we've got to have it.
Yeah, I have no ways to go on in that sense, but
We've got to have it. I move we approve the agreement.
So,
Trustee Rudolph.
Yes.
Trustee Martinez.
yes.
Trustee Human.
Yes.
And Chairman.
yes. Trustee report from any of the trustees, comments, questions? Seeing none, city manager's report. Looks like you have something.
Yeah, council, I want to talk to you a little bit about our current stability in the water fund. You know, we adjust some rates back in 11 to try to compensate 100% of FOSS. What you sometimes don't understand is that we don't know they're going to happen. All the capital costs that come from the water fund, leaks and breaks. We've got a lot of that during this drought. We've lost an average of about $20,000 a month. So to date, we're about $186,000 loss in the fiscal year in the water fund. Now, what was so good about, in the water fund in the past with Clinton Lake, is we had a large surplus, so we could eat a little bit of this. We could put the money into some of the water breaks and deal with some of these issues because we had a large surplus. But we've kind of got to a certain point where we need to begin to consider some water rate changes. Now, we would expect the CPI change every year, but we're going to ask a little above that. Now, we do not have rates in front of you today to say this is what we're going to recommend, but as we get into this budget coming up next month, I wanted you to be expecting a little more than a 3%. Now, what is that percentage increase? I don't know, but we want to create a surplus in the water department because we are growing and we are going to take some money for this water line in engineering, in the study for the water plant, all that comes out of it, as well as these line breaks. You know, every time we have a line break, we lose 1 million gallons of water. You know, we're paying, we're not buying our own water at $1.10, $1,000. We're paying the premium for FOSS water, so we lose all that revenue. So things to consider. We want to bring that to you. I want you to be aware of the loss we're seeing, and you're going to see a significant increase. And I don't know what that is today. And to tell you it's going to be $250, $1,000, I don't know. But we wanted you to be prepared that we are losing $20,000 a month in the water department, and we need to overcome that. And we're going to bring that rate to you in our budget meetings coming up next month. And if you have any more specific questions, we can try to answer that tonight. But we just wanted to bring you up to speed on these are things that are definitely in front of us coming up in this fiscal year.
And that's just a trend based on the line breakages and the loss of water that we've experienced in the last
just the
6
operational
months.
costs. The operational costs have just run that much higher. All the test wells, all the engineering, the water studies, the line breaks. We've consistently seen things just add up over the. Now we may make a little bit up this the next couple of months. Water usage will grow, but we're not. We were trying to break even this year with the rates we proposed to you. We're losing $20,000 a month based on some of these things. A lot of water loss. What is our percentage right now, Deborah? Do you know that in front of you?
Right now, we look like we have about a 10% unaccountable
And see, that's something we're trying to overcome, with meters and our staff, and, you know, anytime there's a leak somewhere, we lose that. You know, we've got to do a lot of flushing, and, you know, because of the red water we dealt with the high iron, those thousands of gallons that goes down that's wasted, but we pay for that. So those things have added up, and so we're gonna bring something back to you, be prepared to start to creep up a little bit more in surplus, overcome this loss, and try to manage the department as we get through this. Now, again, we're keeping our eye on Foss and what they do with their new facility upgrades, our own costs with Knut and our own plans. So there are a lot of things to factor in, but we're trying to get to a point where we shouldn't lose money at this rate, and we're trying to overcome that.
Well, how much, has Foss said how much they're going to raise our rates?
No, haven't said yet. And I don't think they know that until they determine what their total cost will be on our project. You know, we just from the estimated numbers, we kind of ran what the cost would be, but again, we don't know exactly. And we're gonna sit down with Foss and have those conversations and discuss our usage in the future, and we're having those next week. So there's lots to determine on that, and that could affect our rates too. But we just know that we have to make some adjustments probably before that even completed, because we'll deplete the fund quickly. And the water fund purchase its own capital out of that fund too. So it's not, you know, that's why that fund quickly diminishes itself when the capital costs add up.
Well, I had hoped that what it's going to cost us for the Knut water would be offset by the huge rate increase we initiated back in the summer, but apparently it won't.
We're not anticipating that. I think at this point, I think we're anticipating closer to what we see at Foss rates. And again, those will be adjusted until the final bids come in, then we'll really know what the dollar amount will be. But,
Right.
you know, water is definitely a premium right now. Again, I will say that I think that if you look at a national average, we have pretty good rates. But it has been a significant jump over the last couple of years due to Clinton Lake going down. So, just want to keep you aware of that situation, and you'll be seeing more detailed information as we break that down. I still haven't reviewed all the budgets from the department heads and what the requests are, capital as well as coming up, and then so we put that and balance that. I'll deal with Deborah and Treasurer on the rates and what we think we should do, and bring that to you coming up here in about 2-3 weeks.
Have we set a date for a budget meeting?
No, we have not set dates yet. We're looking at mid-May. If you have any conflicts in May, let me know. But around the second week of May, we're shooting for the off week between council meetings.
Okay.
Is our goal on that.
Okay, audience participation regarding this particular authority. Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion now to adjourn the Public Works Authority.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Hulen,
Yes.
trustee Martinez,
Yes.
trustee Rudolph,
Yes.
and chairman.
Yes. Industrial Authority. Now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second, we have a second, Lucas, or whoever made it.
Trustee Hulen,
Yes.
trustee Martinez,
Yes.
trustee Rudolph,
Yes.
and chairman.
Yes. Action items, action item A, request authorization to go bid for curb guttering and streets for Robinson Edition. Mr. Hewitt.
Well, council, Joe really does not have this ready yet, but I wanted to get it kind of ahead of ourselves, so as soon as he was ready for this, within the next couple of weeks, that we could get this out on the street. We've had a little delay in our utilities. We expected to have that out 2 weeks ago. His draftsman made some mistakes. He sent me an email and said he made some mistakes. He's fixing those and hopes to have those out to us, to get those out here in the next week or so. So those are a little delayed. We thought they'd be out on the street already, but we'd like to go ahead and get authorization, so when he is ready for curb and gutter, we can get those out.
Okay, sounds good. Action item B looks like we need to go into executive session.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sorry.
You gotta vote on it first.
Okay,
If you
oh,
want.
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Well, now entertain a motion to go ahead and give Steve to bid out these particular things with Robinson Edition.
I make a motion, we request authorization
We have, that was good, trigger. Have a second? All right.
Trustee Hulen,
Yes.
trustee Martinez,
Yes.
trustee Randolph.
Yes.
And chairman.
Yes. Action item B, discuss with legal counsel regarding pending litigation, including an executive session authorized by this particular statute. So now entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I would ask if you.
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Add me.
Oh, and add Steve, city manager, and Ron Mitchell, part-time.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session and include the city manager.
Second.
Trustee Hulen,
Yes.
trustee Randolph,
Yes.
trustee Martinez,
Yes.
and chairman.
Yes. Okay, done. Now entertain a motion to move back into regular session.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Hulen,
Yes.
trustee Martinez,
Yes.
trustee Randolph,
Yes.
and chairman.
Yes. Trustees' reports, any,
No
comment?
action will be taken on it.
Oh, no, and no action will be taken on what we discussed in the executive session. That's our trustees' reports. Seeing none, city manager's report, Mr. Hewitt, you guys have
I don't have anything in official code.
audience participation regarding this particular authority. Seeing none, entertain a motion to adjourn the industrial authority.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Hulen,
Yes.
trustee Martinez,
Yes.
trustee Randolph,
Yes.
and chairman.
Yes. Now on to the meeting, the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council. First, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Councilman Hulen,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilman Randolph,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. Action items, action item A, consider bids for asphalt overlay project. Oh, thanks.
You have two.
Oh, that's the first one from Circle S Paving here in Clinton. Okay, there we go. Steve, you want to look at it?
Okay, yeah, you got right there, all the streets here, you broke down the streets and the total right there.
So we have quite a few streets listed here, and I assume they're the streets that we put up there. And the total from asphalt, or from Circle S paving is $434,452 even. And 400, yeah, that's right, I'm right. $434,452 even.
Now, council, I did, we broke those down in all different blocks and prioritized those, so we would go as far as our budget would allow us to go. We would review those.
Yeah, it's 15 different sections. And, I mean, it ranges from each particular section. One is almost $70,000. It looks like the least expensive one is $5,200. And everything in between.
It's about right in line, it's about $65 a ton.
All right, there you go. That's about it. Yeah. Second one is from Cornell Construction Company. The envelope is slightly larger. Alright. These are some complicated things, it looks like. Here we go. So from Cornell Construction Company, the total is $570,945.06. It looks like it's laid out exactly the same, and it looks like the bids are relatively comparable. So I think we should, anybody have comments or questions, comments from anybody up here? I think we should entertain a motion to just refer these back to staff.
I'll submit.
I'll second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes.
And you'll bring it up.
I'll bring back a recommendation on what streets to do, under our budget.
Why did we, did we budget?
We got 150, but it also includes some slurry, so, you know, it's also gonna be based on what the slurry bids come in too, so we'll see how far we can go.
All right. Action item B, consider bids for the slurry seal project. One bid. What exactly is slurry, Steve?
It's just a seal on the asphalt sealer, that's all it is. It basically extends the life of the asphalt. Am I saying that? Jason, you're kind of guru on streets, and that's basically what it is?
Looks like the first thing we have is a bond. There we go. And that was from Vance Brothers in Conway, Arkansas. It's laid out comparable to the other ones. Set it on the front. There we go. So the bid total for this one is $54,476.58, and that's for 6 different sections. And there is a lot of other information here. Yeah. So this, yeah. Yes.
No, I think we'd also like to review that, you know, take a look, see if it's a good bid. They've got all the documentation.
All right. Entertain a motion to refer these back to staff to bring us a recommendation.
I'll make a motion, we refer those to staff. To staff. Second.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. All right, action item B, consider staff recommendation regarding the Jet A refueler for the Clinton Regional Airport. Mr. Hewitt.
Council, you were able to see the recommendation, the letter from Tracy Good. We have done some pretty in-depth reviewing of these bids because of the used vehicle and refurbished tanks. It's real critical that we make sure that we looked at everything. Warranty became a big issue. We at the meeting last week at the aeronautics aviation managers meeting, we tried to talk to a few different folks at different airports and get a good idea, understanding of what we were looking at in different bids. And I think it came down to the fact that you know, with hours, and I put that on your desk there in front of you, hours and mileage of the vehicles, the refurbished equipment that we've seen from American Refueler and their warranty made it pretty definite that the 97 Ford F700 gasoline truck is what we'd like to recommend. We did a lot of looking around to see if these bids were good. We think that is a better quality piece of equipment that will service our needs and create a better sense of, well, how do I say this? I mean, we get concerned about liability when you talk about Jet A, and we want to make sure that we have a good piece of equipment that services those airplanes, that's been refurbished, that has warranty, that has a track record in Oklahoma, that's, to me, meets our needs and cares about what we're doing. And I think we'd like to recommend that the item for the 97 Ford F700 for $70,996.
A less expensive truck can lead to significant problems, or, you know, there's something went wrong with the truck or something, tanks or something.
What's the question?
Could a less expensive truck or a cheaper item lead to significant problems?
Well, it could. I mean, what we're nervous about is the quality of truck, the lesser truck, and Tracy can tell you a little better than I can. I mean, we went around and talked to a lot of folks about how it's set up, the loading, how the fueling's at, the tanks themselves, just a painted tank versus a refurbished tank, some of those things. Am I missing anything here, Tracy?
No.
And I think those are the key issues, so that we would have a better, we get nervous about liability.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a new fuel, and we want to make sure that we don't put any, if we're going to fuel these folks up, we put a quality fuel. I want any plane going down, bad fuel, bad equipment to get it from, so that's why we're recommending this nicer truck. I know it's a 97, but you can see the hours and mileage are very low.
We're putting gas in airplanes with this, so we don't want to cheap out.
Right, that's correct.
Steve, last week, or 2 weeks ago, when we opened the bids, I may have written down some stuff wrong, but I wrote down 3 trucks, looks like it. And one was a 2002 that was $89,960, and there were 2 from Houston that were $49,880 base and a $54,700 base. And that was all that I remember writing down. I didn't remember writing down this 1997 model.
97, F700?
I wrote down a 95, a 98, and a 2002.
I don't have the bids in front of me.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Those bids, on that, on whenever you guys opened your bid sheets, that second truck, he bid 2 different trucks in the same, beginning, letter. And so I think when we opened those, we only saw 3, but whenever we got them back and recommended, there was actually, he had given us 2 different trucks.
Who opened those up?
Right.
Blame it on me.
Well, I know we had 4, I don't have it in front of me, Jason.
And I think the reason why is because he bid one was a diesel chassis and the other was a gas chassis. And so he gave us 2 different ones.
Can you explain just a little bit what refurbished would be compared to a truck that had new hoses put on it?
Well, if you look at the 2 different trucks from Omega, that was the, basically, bottom line with the new hoses and the tanks. One came in at $57,200, and the other one was $52,280. Those are basically like if you go and you buy a truck, a new car at a dealer, you're just getting as is. So they haven't done any changing of the pipes or making sure that the tanks are inside, or the epoxy coating is still there versus all the connectors and the stainless steel. The other one is actually a refurbished truck where they go in and they actually change the new filters, they put in the new piping, the new stainless steel piping, and so it is a refurbished truck. It is not new, but it's refurbished. And the other concern that I had was on the truck, the 1998 truck, it had 48,000 hours on the pumping system and 74,000 miles on the truck. And then on the other truck, it had 11,000 hours on the pumping system and 23,000 miles. And so the truck that we're looking at is actually 97, but it's only got 2,863 hours on the pumping system. The other problem is the warranty. The other company only gave us I believe it was a 60-day, yes, a 60-day warranty on the chassis and the tank and the system. If we have a problem with the tank or the filters, then that can cost thousands and thousands of dollars to fix that. So that was my concern with the warranty. And if they're not going to warranty any more than 60 days, that concerns me. Versus somebody's going to warranty that for a year for us.
How many gallons of Jet A fuel do you anticipate? How often is this truck going to be utilized?
That is a question that I can't give you because we've never had it. And I do, whenever the truck comes in, I'm going to say that initially, we're probably not going to have as much as we have later. Because right now, Clinton has a reputation of, we don't have that fuel, we can't service you. So
that question, I anticipate that we will sell as much or more than what we sell of avgas currently. Right now, our biggest concern is that we're sending our traffic to Weatherford or Elk City for fueling. And another issue that I think that is kind of important that we think about the fuel is some of the people that use it, which would be, we can talk about the firefighters last year, whenever they need Jet A, they couldn't get it, and it was right there. So that was an issue for us. Our storm chasers are weather. They use Jet A in their helicopters. They can't get it. They have to go elsewhere. Our air ambulance services. So it's that issue plus the other issue that we have is we're a regional airport. And I guess my question is part of that status is 15 based aircraft, 5,000 foot, and Jet A. We don't have 5,000 foot. We do not have Jet A. We get $150,000 a year from the FAA. Now, with the new budgets with FAA, the question is, do we keep our regional status or not? So do you want to keep $150,000 a year, or we lose that funding? So
I was alluding to the fact that we need to purchase the truck. We need to have Jet A. I just, my only concern is that it's a significant amount of money for the potential of it being utilized on a limited basis. And I'm not so sure that spending, could we use that additional savings and maybe get a cheaper truck and use that money for something else, is what that's just my thought.
Well, council, we're not gonna recommend Omega trucks. We're not gonna go there. So if you don't wanna do these trucks, then we can rebid or search more. We're not gonna recommend Omega. We just don't feel like they're quality trucks that we would put our staff trying to in jeopardy in the reputation of the city of Clinton in jeopardy due to that. So that's the first thing. But I mean, I understand what you're saying. It is a significant amount of money. I mean, we run into this, airports, parks, a lot of things don't make a lot of money, but they're significant for our economic development and growth and quality of life. I guess that's where we leave you. But if you want us to search harder, we will. But we heard the talk from FAA, from Ed Agnew. He said, this is something that we looked at, because when you look at airports, and we have, right here in western Oklahoma, you're seeing every 15 miles or 30 miles, you've got Weatherford, Clinton, Elk City. Both of them have 5,000 and Jet A, we don't. We can lose our regional status. By good faith, us staying in the program, a sign of good faith, trying to purchase this, or getting Jet A, then we stay in the program to extend the runway down the road. That's what we want to make sure we're able to do. And that way, I think that's a great economic, and she gets calls every month, and for the last how many years? I mean, so there's a need. I mean, there's a need there. But we can't tell you that we're going to make a lot of money or it's going to be used a lot right away. But it is something we believe is needed for us to stay a quality, professional community with a quality airport.
Any other thoughts?
Are they making an exception right now, allowing us to maintain our regional status without meeting those criteria?
right now, there's 47 out of 49 airports that do not meet regional status. Yes, they are. I think that one thing about it is the OAC really likes Clinton. They like our airport. They've spent a lot of money on us that they haven't spent elsewhere. And so we actually do our terminal building, and we project a very positive. They've actually taken our model of our terminals and have said, hey, we need to model Clinton. So yes, they do. They work with us a lot. The problem with, everybody keeps asking me, Tracy, are you getting the justification? Are you getting the justification for the runway length? It is hard for me to get justification for a jet to come in if I can't gas them. So it's very, very expensive for them to come in, gear down, gear up, have to leave. Those things are costing about $1,500 an hour is what it costs to run those. So when they come in and they land and they have to leave to Burns Flat, come back, or Weatherford. And the other thing too is, and you guys know this, I'm preaching to the choir, but our airport is the front door to your community. When they come in, that's the first thing they're gonna see, and that's the last thing they're gonna see when they leave. And so, that's just, I think that we just have to decide what type of airport that you want.
Well, I think, several years ago, we acquired the property to extend this airport. We need to apply for the grant, and, we bid this, and you made the recommendation. I'll make the motion that we buy this 1997 F-700 truck for $70,996.
We have a second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Action item D, consider resolution number 812 regarding nomination to Oklahoma Municipal League Board. Steve?
I had that actually.
Oh, John, go ahead.
I had that put on the agenda. I noticed that the board position for the municipal league director is becoming vacant. At least well knows that. I want to fill that slot. I'd like to recommend that we nominate our city manager, Steve Hewitt, to fill that position. I think he can do it. Good job.
Sounds like fun, Steve?
Well, it'd be great, but
There you go.
it
All right.
doesn't guarantee me tonight. Again, I'd have to campaign a little bit with the other cities. I'd be honored to serve as Representative Clinton. So,
Second, we have a second?
I make the motion, or did Don make a motion?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Action item E, consider resolution 813 regarding funding for completion of 2013 Community Development Block Project. Mr. Hewitt.
Council, this is just a resolution that's required by the CDBG grant folks to move forward on this, and it requires your authorization to understand that we're going to spend at least around that $400,000 amount if we're granted the grant itself.
This is to lay the pipeline for what?
The pipeline, which is estimated at a minimum of $750,000.
Gotta have it.
I make a motion that we approve resolution 813.
Second.
Or second?
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
And Mayor?
Yes. Action item F.
Oh,
I'm sorry, yes.
Going back to that, we might make a comment on how many.
Yeah, surveys, yeah, it's a good point. You were.
We have the numbers, the staff that's been tracking that for us. We're at 252 received. We have to hit 400, so there will be calls being made. There will be people probably going door to door to those addresses that were selected. So we will be out working.
Yeah, I would like to warn people that if they have a friendly city employee, that could be, don't be alarmed if it's a fireman or a policeman or a public works person. We're just asking for surveys. We're gonna be out and about trying to collect those. So, because we need all 400, and so we can qualify for this thing.
I might suggest, when you do that, you might take extra copies.
We will, yeah, good point. Yeah, because they'll probably throw them in the trash already, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what we've done.
Yeah.
As people have come in to pay their bills and haven't brought them back, the staff has been very good about picking up all of those they can that way.
Right.
Yes.
What was the date? What's the date we need to back?
We have to have everything turned in by May 2nd, so that's our goal. I'm still waiting for an engineering report that's required, and that our folks are finishing up the PUC, they're gonna do that for me. And then these surveys, and all 400, and we meet the criteria financially on the salary, then we'll have everything together to get turned in. So we'll be out and about collecting those and providing folks with extra surveys if they need them, so.
All right. Stuff. Action item F, discuss and consider appointment to Ward 3. How many applicants have we had?
Just one.
It was Wheeler Lowry. So how do we need to handle this? We got one guy on the flag.
And we ran in the newspaper, they had until they submit an application, I think.
Anybody else?
I agree. Nobody else applied.
Let's get him going, so we can get him in here this next Tuesday, huh, and get him, sworn in. Do we need to go ahead and nominate him? Is he nominated tonight?
Make a motion to appoint him.
Make a motion to appoint. Second?
I'll second.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
Councilman Hewland,
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes.
Make sure he comes to me.
Yeah, someone needs to contact him. Wheeler? Okay, action item G, discuss conditions of the miniature golf course. Steve?
Council, if you've not been to our miniature golf course lately, you would be disappointed in how it looks. It is a really neat little facility. It's just aged and wore down. And I had Chris Wormy, our Parks Director, put something together for me, and I put that in the packet. You know, and I would love to do a brand-new facility. We're not recommending that. I mean, that would be a wonderful thing to do, but financially, we just don't think that's the right thing to do at this point. But we would like to spend, around the $12,000 to replace the turf and redo the clubhouse and bring it up to some electrical issues and fix some obstacles up and just make it a night. And it's used all the time. A lot of church groups come by and kids after, and it's now again that time of year, they'll be using it on weekends and during the week. And we'd like to put a little TLC into it, to be honest with you.
When was the last time TLC was put into it?
No, I don't know. It's nothing significant anyway that I can think of.
Chris, a lot of people use this place?
Yeah, we've already had reservations being made to different churches. All the schools have their into-school parties there, including the pool, so they make it all-day event. Like Steve said, we've got churches from Corn, Weatherford, Elk City come over here to use our putt-putt, and they come over here and use it once, and that's the last time we see them,
Oh.
considering the condition.
Yes.
What's the recommendation? What do we do?
12,000.
We'll authorize $12,000 first to fix it up. We'll do that with our own labor.
It's a neat little place.
I make a motion that we authorize $12,000 to be spent on the
Second, second?
miniature.
Yes, miniature.
Councilman Rodoff,
Yes.
Councilman Hewland,
Yes.
Councilman Martinez,
Yes.
and Mayor.
Yes. Action item H, consider request for Multnomah County Youth Services for financial assistance for forensic audio video equipment. Yes, ma'am. There we go. Oh, Steve, go ahead. Yes,
Linda,
sir.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
Basically, what we're doing, we're trying to seek funds for our Custer Washita Child Protection Team. We do forensic interviews at our facility. At this point, since August, we've had 88. These interviews are used during the courts, and if we don't get it right the first time, then that's where the defense finds loopholes. And then we have to re-interview this child. It could be a child abuse, it could be neglect. And there's people here that is actually set on this child protection team that's here today. We got the grant in 2002, and that's when we purchased our audio and video equipment. It has not been updated since. I have gotten a bid for close to $9,000 to update this equipment. I have gotten $3,000 from Washita County, $3,000 from Custer County yesterday, and I go see Weatherford on the 30th at 8 o'clock. But we need to get this done, and we need to get it done right. We're completely redoing the room, we're painting it, we're buying furniture, children's furniture, making it more warm, because when these children come in, they're scared. And it's better to come into our facility and then to a police department or DHS. And when they come in, I've updated the lobby where they come in and there's a TV, they get to watch videos and play games and sit in bean bags. So they're really relaxed time they do get into the interview. We have a forensic interview that actually comes out from Oklahoma City. She's very good. And she actually does the interviews for us. We have counties such as Dewey, Beckham. In fact, Elk City is using us a lot now because their equipment is down. And our equipment is actually better than their equipment, as I've been told. The equipment that you see on this bid is what we do is we video it, and as they are being interviewed, there is a team in another room actually watching that interview. We tape it for them, and they take it when they go to court. If they lose that disc, then we're able, because we can store it with this interview equipment, we can come back and we can give them another copy. But we really need to do something, because when these children come in, they might be hiding underneath the table, or if they're sitting there, they're not having eye contact. And if they're muffling, if we can't hear them, then, you know, it's not going to help this child in the court. So we're asking for any assistance that you can give us.
Aren't we, doesn't this area of Oklahoma experience a high rate of this area of the nation?
And it's really sad, you know, you hear all about Tulsa and you hear all about Oklahoma City. Ours aren't publicized like theirs are, but it's out there and it's really severe. So this is the only thing that protects them. And they're not having to be interviewed in the court system. And if we do it, get it right the first time, they won't have to be interviewed again. And everybody can use this, this interview. It's not just if there was more complications. So, and we need to put these people, you know, away that are actually doing it to our kids. And we're here to protect our children. That's our job.
And you're experiencing problems now with your current interview equipment?
Yes. Yeah, it's 2002. It's pretty outdated. With this one, this actually has several mics, has several cameras, so we're going to be able to see all angles of this child. If the child gets up and moves to the corner, we can't see that child. Where there's going to be more cameras in the room, so we're going to be able to see their facial expressions, because that says a lot there too. So yes, and my goal is to have everything raised by May 1st, so we can get this done.
Thank you, Linda. Brian, this last year, the Route 66 Museum came to us, and there were some stipulations at that time. We were going to do something, but did we end up having to purchase the pieces of equipment? Would that be something?
Back. That's all.
What I'm getting at is it, can we make it a gift? I don't know what the word you want to use. Do we have to, would it be better for us to specifically buy a piece of equipment?
Right. I think that's probably the best way to handle it, is rather than just give money, that we buy a specific piece of equipment and allow use of it, right?
The way I remember that, that's how we had to do it with the Route 66 Museum. Is that?
This is a little different though, Ryan, because they are, if I understand right, we've done this every year. They're a contribution agency that we give to multi-county, battered women, shelter, those kind of things. They fall into that category. We can help their operations. They provide a service. If we give them some money, if the council would so like to give them some money for their extended services, could they use that money any way they want, rather than have to talk about?
If it's under the umbrella of what we're already getting and what the services provided, then certainly it would just be an increase in appropriations that we swallow this year or in next year's budget, whatever. It's just right. If it's a one-time gift of some sort, if we're categorizing it as a gift, then certainly we would need to go the route of doing the specific item purchase.
Why did we do that with the museum?
Well, I think actually because it was a specific gift, not providing a service to the community. Unlike what they do, they provide a service for our troubled youth.
Well, we need to do this.
Absolutely, yes.
We don't need to, I mean, if there's a way we can contribute the money.
Yeah. Yes, that's
If
where
if it's proper for us to contribute the money, we need to go ahead and contribute the money rather than having staff.
don't, one thing we'd like to get away from is trying to purchase $2,000-3,000 of specific, things. That's gonna be that'd be kind of and because that becomes in our property, and then over time they pay us back. That's how we did it with the museum.
See, why don't we do this? Why don't you all make an allocation or identify an amount that you would like to allocate and let us look at it and decide the best way to do it? I think we could probably slide it in under the contributions, the allocations that we make yearly.
I make a motion, we allocate $3,000 on the kind of use
Second?
to help buy this equipment.
One second.
Councilman Rodoff?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes. That's it. Council reports, comments from councilman? Yes, sir.
We talked about that survey, I was concerned about the survey, but we need to really emphasize.
Yes.
People get those surveys turned.
Yeah, and I talked to Deborah, actually, today we talked, but we want to see how many came in the water bills. We did get a significant amount, but we are short, and now we're going to hit the streets ourselves and staff to go out to collect those, make calls. We'll pick them up, we'll knock on doors, we're going to make every effort to do all for them.
Okay. City manager's report. Steve?
Well, just one thing, we had talked our last meeting, we got a little confusion from the Custer County Election Board on when our filing dates for Clinton were. And I had Lisa go back and verify that, and for this particular year, they are June 24, 25, and 26. And now, next year, we may be different dates because of how things fall down with some different elections. And this year, we will comply with our charter. Next year, we may not comply with our charter, based on what the election board tells us. But we do know this year, it is 24, 25, 26. Lisa, do you want to, did I miss anything there?
No, the dates of the filing, also, the election will be in August, and then on the June 4th agenda, we'll be bringing a resolution to you to establish these dates.
All right, what seats are up?
All but.
Green down? Audience participation, here we go. Anybody? Seeing none, entertain a motion to adjourn a regular meeting of the Clinton City Council.
So moved. Second.
Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
Councilman Martinez?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff? And Mayor.
Yes.